Hello, it's June 23rd, 2017, and you're watching Life Talk. I'm Mark Crutcher.
And I'm Renee Hobbs. Thanks for being with us today.
You know, Renee, if you were to ask most people, what is the battle between the pro-abortion side and the pro-life side? What is that battle about? I think most people would say abortion.
Absolutely.
That's what it's over.
Right.
That's not really true.
Or choice.
Or choice, whatever. Yeah.
Right.
That's not really true. Abortion is simply the mechanism by which babies are killed.
Right.
But the real issue is, what do you think about the unborn child? That's what the real issue is.
Right.
And, you know, that's why I've said for years, we make a mistake when it comes to politicians. Somebody runs for office and we go to them and we say, what's your position on abortion? We give them an easy way out when we do that. Mm-hmm. The question we should be asking them is, what is your position on the right to life of the unborn child? Mm-hmm. And those are not necessarily the same issue.
Yeah, I mean, we need to cut to the chase, and we need to forget about the rape exception or the incest or whatever. It's not about that. It's about the baby, and it's about the unborn in the womb that has been created by God. Right.
That's what I say when we go to these politicians. We don't ask them, again, what their position on abortion is. What I want to know is, what do you think about the unborn child? Mm-hmm. Because, for example, and I brought this point up on a previous Life Talk, mm-hmm. Hillary Clinton and a lot of these politicians, but just use her as an example, she tries to play both ends against the middle. She'll come out and here she'll say, oh, I'm totally aghast at abortion. I think every abortion is I think she said is a tragedy, and every abortion represents a failure.
Right.
So I'm opposed to abortion,
mm-hmm.
and that kind of takes the sting off of it for them.
Yeah, but she's okay with the baby dying up until the day the baby is born.
And what we need to be saying to these politicians is, I don't care what you think about abortion. We all think abortion's horrible. I don't care what you think about abortion.
Right.
I don't care what you...
Even the abortionists, even the ones that do the killing, think abortion is horrible.
Yeah, we've had them right here in our office, employees of abortion clinics saying, I don't know how a woman can do this.
Right.
And, you know, the three that you and I went and talked to down in Houston, all three of them had negative things to say about the abortion itself.
Right.
That's not the issue. And again, we need to be saying to these politicians and to the public at large, but especially to politicians, mm-hmm. I don't care what your position on abortion is. Mm-hmm. I don't care what you think about abortion. Mm-hmm. I don't care what you feel about abortion.
Right.
All I want to know is, do you believe that the unborn child is a living human being from the moment of fertilization, or do you not? Either you believe that or you don't.
Yeah, right.
Now, if you say that you do believe it, then you have to also apply the same standards to an unborn child that you would apply to a 50-year-old. So if you're going to use a justification, like you mentioned rape or incest, mm-hmm. to justify killing, which you've already agreed mm-hmm. is a living human being, mm-hmm. if you're going to use that justification to kill an unborn baby at 12 weeks or whatever time, then you have to be willing to use that justification to kill a 40-year-old mm-hmm. or a 5-year-old.
Right.
So we're going to go into a school system and say, here's 100 kids. A certain number of these kids were created through rape, right? Mm-hmm. So they don't have a right to life. Right?
That's what you're saying.
That's what you're saying, because you've already admitted that mm-hmm. you believe it's an unborn child. The unborn child's a living human being. And so when you would force this politician to say whether they do or not, if they come back and say, well, no, I don't believe that the unborn child is a living human being with the same rights as every other living human being, now we've got that person locked in. If they say the opposite, we've got them locked in. Either way. But when you just simply ask them their position on abortion, we give them an easy way out. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm opposed to abortion. I don't think abortion's right. I don't think it should be something that we rely on for birth control, or that you just take casually or whatever. You give them an easy way out. And so you have moral degenerates like a Hillary Clinton or mm-hmm. a Nancy Pelosi, mm-hmm. you know, or Chuck Schumer or the Kennedys, whoever. They can come out here and say, yes, I'm very much opposed to abortion, and I think we ought to do whatever we can to eliminate the need for abortion.
Right.
Well, first off, there's no such thing.
But they ultimately say it's a woman's choice, and she has the right to decide what she's going to do.
So they get to be on both ends.
Right.
They get to play both ends against the middle. Mm-hmm. And again, we need to go back. I mean, not go back. In a sense, we go back, because in the early days of the pro-life movement, I can tell you that if you ask the average pro-lifer, why are you doing this? Mm-hmm. They would say, because I think the unborn child's a living human being and entitled to have its life protected.
That's right.
Nowadays, you'd have a significant number of even people that label themselves pro-life. You say, why are you pro-life? They'd say, because I'm opposed to abortion. We've got to get to the point where we recognize that abortion is simply the mechanism by which the child is killed.
Right. No, and you posed a very good question, and it's something that everybody should be talking about and thinking about, and coming up with a good answer for it, not just that they are opposed to abortion.
Right. So why are you opposed?
Right.
It's because if you truly are pro-life, there's only one reason to be opposed to abortion, and that is that you believe the unborn child is a living human being from the moment of fertilization. If you believe that, then you don't have to worry about all these exceptions and all of these things like, well, I think if the girl's 13 years old, well, if she's 13 years old and she had a 1-year-old baby, would you allow to kill that baby? Because you're sitting here telling me it's the same as the unborn.
Right.
And I think, unfortunately, Renee, and you and I have had this conversation before, for maybe not a significant number, but for a certain number of pro-lifers out there, they don't understand this concept. They don't understand what's motivating them to be pro-life, and they don't believe their own rhetoric. You can be like again, using Hillary Clinton as an example, you can be somebody who calls yourself pro-choice but opposed to abortion.
Right.
And a lot of politicians do try to play that game.
Right.
We got to take that away from them, and we've got to refocus our attention in the pro-life movement on the central issue. The issue is not what you think about abortion. The issue is, what do you think about the unborn child? Yes. That's the issue.
That is very much so.
That's the issue we need to be focusing in on.
Yeah.
We need to get people's attention back on that,
right?
As opposed to what you think about abortion, because that's really irrelevant. Again, as you mentioned a moment ago that we've had these people here that work at abortion clinics that say they're opposed to abortion. How does that help the baby?
It doesn't.
They're sitting there pulling the arms and legs off these babies and crushing their skulls and throwing them in the dumpster.
Right.
How does it help that baby that this person was opposed to this operation?
Right.
It didn't help them a bit.
No.
It didn't help them a bit. Anyway, that's all the time we have for this show, and we will be back next week. Until then, remember, Life Dynamics is not here to put up a good fight. We're here to win, because winning is how this killing is going to stop. We'll see you next week.
Have a good weekend.